Let's get back to jobs here and look at it from a staffing perspective. Recruitment agency Adecco says we are still in a candidate-driven market. Let's bring in Adecco Senior Vice President Amy Glaser for perspective. Amy, what does that mean, a candidate-driven market? Explain to us.
So the candidates still are at the forefront. You know, whether it be a year ago when we had 2 jobs for every job seeker, or even today where we see the number of job openings have declined slightly, there still isn't a one-to-one match, and there are more job opportunities out there than folks actually looking for work.
And so there are plenty of people who, in the categories that are continuing to see growth right now, as BLS continues to give us an update even on leisure and hospitality and that trying to get back to its pre-pandemic levels, where are you seeing the conversations around wages move forward right now?
Good question. We're still seeing a strong appetite for wage increases in those hot on-demand jobs, especially among the hourly workers. So think leisure, hospitality, think retail, warehouse. We're still seeing quite a bit of an uptick there. What we are seeing is a new trend is last year was the year of the sign-on bonus, retention bonuses, all types of creative ways of supplementing for a total compensation package. And we're seeing employers really put that in the base wage rate now. So I do continue to see, especially among that hourly workforce, a rise in wages.
That's really interesting, Amy. Is that something that is more appealing? Like the people who are looking for jobs, would they rather see it in the base versus a bonus? Like what are the various pros and cons, and why are employers doing it in a different way?
Yeah, I think right now, given a lot of the uncertainty, people are looking for short-term satisfaction and ensurement that they're going to be able to heat and eat over what's remaining of the winter and as they get ready to come into summer. So we're seeing that short-term mentality of the base wage rate, as opposed to being really looking for that carrot dangling in the future, being something that's driving candidates as they're choosing which employer they're going to go work for.
Are you seeing any type of kind of preference given to a type of employer based on where they're allowing their workforce to really occupy the role from? And I'm thinking about virtual employment. I'm thinking about how many people have opted for the ability to just be employed from anywhere at this point.
You know, I think we're seeing the greatest appetite, both from an employer and a candidate perspective, is this notion of hybrid work. So people yearn to be around other people and are really looking for that opportunity to collaborate, gain synergies, the good old, coffee talk, but they don't want to do it 5 days a week. So employers who are affording that level of flexibility for coming into the office 2 or 3 days a week are really getting a leg up and kind of seeing the best of both worlds. I would say from a more blue collar workspace, the candidates are really looking for flexibility. And part-time work is on the rise. I was sitting in Ohio in one of our offices this week, and I watched about 8 candidates come in, and 3 of the 8 were there simply looking for part-time work.
You mentioned some of the areas of strength here, manufacturing, warehouse, call center. Are there any areas where you are starting to see less demand?
You know, I think we continue to see within the technology sector just that right sizing of what was a really hot labor market. I think the good news is, you have to look pocket by pocket, region by region, industry by industry, but there are still tons of opportunities out there. And despite all the headlines about layoffs and fear of a recession, we're still seeing a ton of movement in the job market. And those that are unfortunately experiencing a loss of a job are rebounding very quickly. And we're seeing the redeployment, unlike we've seen in the past. It's not so much of a taboo anymore to share that you've been laid off, and through social media and other networks, we're really seeing them find new opportunities quickly.
Amy, just lastly, while we have you here, the New York Fed had looked at labor force participation rate data and kind of taken out what certain age or adjusted for age and retirements as well, and found that the labor force participation rate is actually above its pre-pandemic highs. So based on that data, if we're thinking about the sectors that are poised to see the most retirements or workforce or labor force participation exits, which ones would you be keeping an eye on there?
I think this is one of my favorite hot topics right now. And the automotive industry specifically is really seeing the benefits of retirees returning to work. So we're noting that about 1 in every 6 retiree is looking to return to the workforce. So I think those that required skilled trades and openings that are much harder to fill are seeking the benefit of bringing back some of that skilled workforce. So I think in the automotive manufacturing sectors, that's going to be a trend we continue to see.
Really interesting. Adecco SVP Amy Glaser. Amy, thanks so much for taking the time here this morning. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.